Everyone is selling out to sports betting. Seriously. Celebrities, influencers, teams in leagues like the NFL and the MLB, and even the TV networks. Even Disney is cashing in on the gambling frenzy. Seriously, I cannot turn on my TV today without being told to follow my hunch or to play today risk-free. Even when I'm watching a game, the pre-show is going over their various picks and parlays, and honestly, it just seems like the world has collectively lost its mind. So, for this video, I want to go over why everyone is selling out to sports betting. It'd be nice if instead everyone could sell out and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on all of my latest videos. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it. Thanks. And before diving in, I just want to add the disclaimer that I am not here to make a moral judgment on gambling, at least at the individual level. I myself even have fun sometimes betting on sports while I watch a game with my friends. Although I do that with very small amounts of money, but this video is mainly targeting the businesses and brands behind the world of sports betting. I also want to acknowledge that gambling addiction is a very real issue that we're facing today. So in case you need it, I'm going to place the number for the National Problem Gambling Hotline right here, and I'll also throw it in the description. There's absolutely no shame in seeking help if you or a loved one need it. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the rise of sports betting. It's no coincidence that we've been seeing it pop up just recently, as prior to 2018, it was actually banned at the federal level. In 1992, Congress passed the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which prohibited sports betting in all states, with the exception of Nevada, Delaware, Oregon, and Montana. However, in 2018, the Supreme Court declared a federal ban on sports gambling to be unconstitutional, thus opening the floodgates. Now, it took some time for various states to start legalizing sports betting. For example, I live in North Carolina and we didn't see it pop up until earlier this year. But just to paint a picture of some of the things that went on, let's look at Kansas, where lawmakers experienced heavy lobbying from the gambling industry, which included wining and dining, expensive gifts, and idealistic promises that would not totally come to fruition. And as a result, these lawmakers not only approved sports betting, but they also gave the sports betting industry generous tax breaks. During the first 2 months that sports betting was legal in the state of Kansas, residents placed $350 million worth of bets. However, the state only generated $271,000 worth of tax revenue off of that, which is a tax rate of just 0.07%. Now, let's compare that with other Vice products. A Vice product is a good that's sold that is typically considered to be unhealthy and addictive. So things like alcohol, cigarettes, other tobacco products. If we look at cigarettes, the average tax on one pack is $1.96. So if we also consider that the average pack sells for $8, then that's an effective tax rate of about 25%. And the reason for that tax is to disincentivize buyers so that people don't pick up the habit of smoking, which again is very unhealthy and addictive. So if our government has taken such a hard stance on other products that are harmful for the public, why does gambling get such a pass? Well, of course, it's because of the money. And it's not just the government. Everyone wants to get their piece of the pie and cash in on the craze, which is what we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about how you should hit that subscribe button. Again, we're trying to get to 400 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it. Thanks. To say that sports betting ads were starting to pop up on TV would on its own be a massive understatement. While advertisements on sports gambling have been down a little bit since 2021, they are up massively since 2017. And it's not just official advertisements. If you tune in before a game, in the pregame show, analysts are often going over their picks and their parlays and various odds on things that are going to happen during the game. And for me personally, I'm not necessarily against the legalization of sports betting in general, but it does seem like the line of separation between the actual gambling and the actual sport is just getting thinner and thinner. And to me, it does seem predatory, as sports draw in a large demographic that may be susceptible into falling into some of the traps that could lead them into addiction. And the problem's not just on TV. If you end up going to a game in person, it's honestly even worse. Not only are there advertisements placed all over the stadiums, but many teams are actually building real sports books within their venue. That's right, if you find yourself at a Nationals or a Cubs or a Commanders game, you can place in-person bets right at the stadium. And if you don't want to be bothered with that and you don't want to leave your seat, these venues are also upgrading their in-stadium Wi-Fi so that you can make bets directly from your seat. And not only is this likely going to be a bad thing for the consumer, but what's going to happen to actual sport? Now, I'm not going to entertain some grand conspiracy where players are going to start intentionally throwing games to profit directly, but we can't deny that there won't be some sort of in-game impact here. For example, imagine being a player and while you're on the sideline, you're getting heckled by your own fans because you're holding up the last leg of their parlay. Or the fans are irate because you're not attempting to hit the over or cover the spread. I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but when betting is literally taking place in the building, it's just going to open the door for all kinds of trouble. And another interesting ongoing trend is the number of celebrities that are coming out to endorse these platforms. And the money is huge. Back in the earlier days of the Pat McAfee show, before they joined ESPN, they had a 4-year deal with FanDuel that paid $120 million. And the list of celebrity endorsements goes on and on. Kevin Hart, for example, has been a big face for DraftKings. LeBron is getting in on the mix. And the list of celebrities also includes John Cena, Gronk, Dave Portnoy, Conor McGregor, Tom Brady, and many others. And this trend becomes really concerning when you consider the fact that active players in the NBA, MLB, and NHL are allowed to sign their own endorsement deals directly with these sportsbooks. Can you imagine going back 10 years and telling people that that was legal? They would assume that one of the greatest scandals in sports history was about to go down. Now, so far the NFL is holding out and they don't allow their active players to sign endorsement deals for sports gambling, but let's be honest, they probably are not doing this for the integrity of the game. I'm sure that team owners just want to save most of that revenue for themselves. So now that we've talked about all of that, what's the point of this video? Why is this such a big problem? Well, obviously, at least in my eyes, sports gambling can be super dangerous, especially for those that are prone to addiction. And in my opinion, a lot of these celebrities and organizations are not being held accountable for the problems that this causes in everyday life. Companies are typically very careful with the products that they endorse because they want to protect their brand image, but for some reason, no one considers this when we talk about gambling. And I'm not alone in thinking that this is a problem. Many organizations, including the National Council on Problem Gambling, have started to speak up about these issues and about the lack of regulation that's in place. In my opinion, this situation should be compared to the tobacco and cigarette industry, where the US has implemented a lot of regulation to discourage the open promoting of these products and to protect consumers. But we have to ask ourselves, if gambling addiction is also proven to be very harmful, why do these celebrity endorsements get a pass, and why isn't Congress doing anything to limit the amount of promotions these companies are able to do? Well, the good news is that Congress is starting to take action. A bill has been introduced in Congress called the Safe Bet Act, and it would apply some federal regulation to how these gambling services can be promoted to consumers. More specifically, the bill is focusing on 3 key areas when it comes to sports betting. The first is advertising. The bill is proposing a ban on advertisements during live sporting events that are intended to introduce gambling with no sweat or bonus type bets. A lot of those ads are centered around the fact that your first bet is risk-free, and these types of ads are very effective because they draw in first-time bettors who don't want to lose out on money, they want to check it out, but then they get hooked and they become repeat customers. The bill is also looking to regulate the use of AI and data analysis to identify and specifically target pattern gamblers. So as of right now, a sports betting company could typically look at their data, see who has a pattern of gambling in certain scenarios, and then send them targeted ads to encourage them to bet. And this bill is looking to eliminate that. And the last thing the bill is looking to address is affordability, which they're really just defining as limiting the amount of times that someone can make a deposit every day, so that if someone truly has a problem, they won't be able to just keep putting in money and increase their losses. So it's just looking to cap overall betting activity for problem gamblers. And overall, I am in support of this bill, at least from what I've read at a high level, because I think it would help solve some of the predatory practices that are currently going on in the gambling world, but it's not not going to solve everything, and this whole situation could end up getting a lot worse. We still haven't solved the issue of actual teams and players getting involved directly in the gambling space, which in my opinion could prove to be very detrimental to the integrity of the sport. And honestly, we're just opening the door for this industry to expand. According to a New York Times article, the gambling industry is really just using sports betting as a stepping stone to legalize just generic online casinos, which would allow you to go and play, slot machines or poker or other casino games directly from your phone or computer. So there are definitely some concerning trends that are popping up, to say the least. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. Do you disagree with anything I said in the video related to sports gambling? Do you have a positive outlook for it with the future? Or do you have a negative outlook? Let me know. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.